I'll read out some of what he says. So Commander Dominic Murphy, he was leading the investigation, said since yesterday over 150 officers and staff have been working around the clock on apprehending Khalife. We have issued a nationwide alert that has resulted in increased security at our ports and borders. However, currently there have not been any confirmed sightings. He goes on to say, I recognise and am fully aware of the impact these measures are having on the public. We are working to ensure as minimal disruption as possible. And finally, he says it is crucial for the public to help us with this search and to call us immediately if they have any information on the whereabouts of Khalife. And you've just shown that route. The prison van, the delivery van left the prison on Heathfield Road, went up Trinity Way, northbound on Trinity Way, down to that famous Wandsworth roundabout before going on to the A205. So an appeal for anyone who might have dash cam footage or any information, of course, to come forward. And this manhunt, as the police said in that press briefing today, is a nationwide manhunt with borders being checked, extra security at Dover Port today on outgoing traffic because of fears that Khalife may have fled the country or is planning to flee the country.
OK, Sadia, thanks very much. And as we watch those pictures, there's a little more detail that the van was stopped by police, as I said, on Upper Richmond Road, heading heading out of Putney West and near the junction with Carlton Drive. So Carlton Drive junction with Upper Richmond Road in Putney is where that van was eventually stopped, but he had by then made his escape. Let's bring in our People and Politics correspondent, Nick Martin. And Nick, when the Chief Inspector of Prisons says, as he has today, that staff shortages are a source of many of the problems at Wandsworth, it then does become all very tricky for the government.
It does. And tonight, as we sit here, aren't there a lot of sort of plates spinning in the air with this story. There is, as we've just heard, a huge manhunt underway, but there's also a big inquest, a big investigation into what went wrong and how was Khalife able to escape that prison. And that is something the Justice Secretary, Alex Chalk, addressed to Parliament this morning. He announced an independent inquiry into the escape, looking at the events leading up to it, how it happened, and perhaps whether it was due to any help or collusion. These are all big questions that need to be answered tonight. But also about the categorisation of prisoners and whether Khalife, who was on remand for terrorist offences, should have been in a Category B prison. In fact, should he have even been in a kitchen, which we've heard today is quite a cushy job, if there is such a thing in a prison. These are things which the Justice Secretary wants answered, he says, within the week. He was quite confident today when he said no stone would be left unturned. He said, we will find him and he will face justice. But more than 30 hours on, Mark, and as you've just explained with those helicopter pictures, the route out was quite complicated. This looks to have been fairly, possibly well organised. He's a trained soldier on the loose, and there are an enormous amount of questions for the government. Now, this has opened up a broader, bigger picture about the prison service, the funding of it, the staffing of it. Prison unions have been saying for so many years now that they are underfunded, understaffed. We can't be sure whether that issue, those issues, are connected with this, but it is certainly a huge political theme which is emerging. The Labour leader today saying this is years of underfunding in the prison service. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, saying thankfully escapees are rare, but they will try to do all they can to track this man down. So we've a huge manhunt underway. But underneath, bubbling under the surface, are the issues that have been bubbling around for many years, starting to come to the fore about prisons, how we run them, how we fund them, how we staff them.
Nick, thanks very much. And the picture you're seeing now is Upper Richmond Road, heading out towards, well, it's just gone through Putney. It's now heading towards Roehampton and then out to Richmond itself. And it was along this road you're seeing now, on one of the junctions with a road on the right, on the left, I think Carlton Drive is, and there we are, that's the junction left to Roehampton, right to Barnes, and heading out through the sort of leafy suburbs of southwest London. And it was early morning, well, relatively early morning. It would have been about 8:30, 9 o'clock that the van arrived here. And I think Carlton Drive we've already seen Carlton Drive, where the van was stopped. But by then he had got out of the underside of the van. So police really are, didn't do, well, they need the public's help. They need people who had any sighting of him to contact them. At the moment, they're saying there are no confirmed sightings of Daniel Khalife. And they've also said, one of the senior officers involved has said that it would be the ingenuity of this man, a trained soldier, that they also take into consideration. A trained soldier trying to make his escape with the ingenuity of someone who knows a bit about it. And so the police under pressure, politicians under pressure, the prisoner still on the run this evening. And later in the hour, I'll be speaking to the former Security Minister, Baroness Neville Jones, about the political side of all this, and we'll be speaking to her at about 6:30.